Hello, Namaste, and welcome to Unit 4 of Chemical Engineering and Plant Economics. In the previous chapter, we learned how to select a suitable equipment for a chemical process. Once the equipment has been selected, the next challenge is deciding where the plant should be located and how the equipment should be arranged inside the plant. These two decisions have a significant impact on the plant's capital investment, operating cost, productivity, safety, maintenance, and future expansion. A good plant layout ensures smooth movement of materials and personnel, while a suitable plant location reduces transportation cost, ensures easy availability of raw materials and utilities, and improves profitability. In this chapter, we will study the factors affecting plant layout, principles of good plant layout, and the factors to be considered while selecting a suitable plant location. Let us first understand what is meant by plant layout. So, a plant layout is a physical arrangement of equipments, machines, work areas, storage facilities, utilities, roads, and service areas within a plant to ensure safe, smooth, and economical production within a material handling and with minimum material handling and maximum efficiency. That means a plant layout is basically a systematic arrangement of all the equipments, machineries, various departments, and services within a factory. The purpose of plant layout is to achieve efficient and safe and economical production. Now we will just have a look at the typical plant layout. So you can see over here that in a typical plant layout, you have the main production area. Alongside with we have the raw material storage and receiving end. The production area is in support with utility, maintenance, and electrical substations. Alongside, we have the warehouse for finished good and ETP. Okay, we have an specific area, special area for administration building, parking, and since we are dealing with a chemical plant to ensure environmental friendliness, we have a lot of green area over here. You can see here. We also have a kind of a hospital or OHP, okay, that can be also be placed somewhere around here, so that in case of any in-house emergencies that can be placed. Also the production area over here we can have a small assembly point. Okay, that assembly point is needed in just case of emergency or to assemble all the people. However, this is a typical plant layout. Okay, it can vary. It varies actually. It varies from every plant to plant, every manufacturing unit to unit. Now, next one is principles of plant layout. So, what are the basic ideas that we take into consideration? So, a good plant layout should achieve maximum productivity with minimum cost while ensuring safe and efficient operations. A well-designed plant layout is the one that can be beneficial in achieving the following objectivities. The first one is proper and efficient utilization of available space, so that every area of the plant is utilized efficiently. The next one is transportation of work from one point to another point without any delay. Okay, uh, proper utilization of production capacity. So you don't want to make your material travel a lot. So material movement should follow the shortest possible route to reduce handling cost and production delays. Okay, the layout should also is supervision, smooth flow, and convenient maintenance. Okay, so we need a proper utilization of production capacity. We need to reduce the material handling cost. We need to efficiently use the labor that we have. We must ensure that the accidents are reduced. We must provide flexibility for scale up or you can say for revamping of the plant if required, and in future we should provide ease for supervision and control. We should provide space for safety and health. As I mentioned, we can have an assembly area, we can have an hospital kind of thing, or a paramedical support kind of thing. Then we should have place where sanitization or employees can wear their PPEs and so forth. We should allow maintenance of machine and plants. So for that we have warehouses or maintenance building, and then we need to improve the productivity. That should be the our focus. Okay, so the design should be flexible enough to accommodate future expansion and process modification without major reconsideration. In short, a good plant layout reduces operating cost, improves productivity, minimizes accidents, and ensures smooth plant operation. Okay. So if I have to give you an example on this, I can say, for example, in a fertilizer plant, equipment is arranged according to the process sequences so that the raw materials move continuously from one unit to the next without unnecessary transportation. Because fertilizer plants are continuous, so we need to design it in that way. Okay, now that we have understood how we should have a plant layout, let us see the factors that affect the plant layout. So there are several factors that influence the good design of a good plant layout design. Okay, so first one is whether the plant is being constructed on new site or is being added to an existing facility. Okay, see if we have a new area, a new plant site, then we can as per our need as much as possible. But however, if we are just reusing an existing plant, then we have very kind of space limitations, like we need to use the old drain lines or water tanks if they are available, or if earlier machines are to be used, when the place where those machines are, we need to take those spaces into consideration. The next one is type and quantity of products that determines the size and arrangement of the equipment. The third one is type of manufacturing process and the level of automation. So if we are having a batch process or a continuous process, and what kind of process control systems we are organizing, like we are having a manual control, we are having a PLC, we are having a SCADA, we are having a DCS, whatever it is. Okay. Then we need to ensure the operational convenience and accessibility. Okay, so the layout should provide easy access for operation and maintenance, economic distribution of utilities such as water, steam, electricity, and compressed air, as well as other services required. Then types of building that and building code requirements. So if it is a just a factory unit, plant unit, then it has its own building code. If we are having a hospital inside, then its building code is different. If it is an admin building, office building, then it's a lot different. Warehouse has different building codes. So that is required. However, in terms of chemical engineering, this is not our concern. This is a civil engineering concern, but we should somehow know the basics of it also. Again, health and safety considerations, as we have discussed previously. Waste disposal requirement. Okay, so if you need an ETP, where it will be. If you need a solid waste disposal system, where it will be. If you need a connectivity with central effluent treatment plant, then how will you manage that? Along with air pollution, yeah, all the pollutants that you are going to release in air, how you are going to treat them and how you are going to place your chimneys and all. Then we should have a provision for auxiliary equipments also, pumps, valves, compressors, maybe heaters if required, generators and so forth. And obviously how much space is available with us, how much is required right now, and how much you will be needing in future. In those things are has to be taken care very precisely. We need to keep provision for roads, and if we have a huge industry like GNFC where we have railway lines inside the unit itself, so you need to keep provision and land space for them also. And lastly but not least, the possible future expansion. Okay, so you need to ensure that you have adequate space should be available for storage, roads, railways, waste disposal, auxiliary equipment, and future expansion. Also, again, last but not the least, health, safety, and environmental regulations must always be considered while designing the plant layout. So we need to again just we will take care that we need to have a look at the equipment arrangement. Okay, that should be in such a way that it supports smooth operation. How we are placing our utilities and material movement, that is also important. It should be economical, and future expansion should be considered. Now, many petroleum refineries keep storage tanks away from processing unit to improve the fire safety and simplify maintenance. Okay, this is one more example that you can take care of. Okay. Now, let us move on to the how equipment should be arranged. Now let us see how engineers decide where to establish an entire plant. Okay, so site selection, whether it is factors affecting site selection, where factors affecting plant location, they are same. So selecting a proper location for chemical plant is a long-term strategic decision because relocating an industry later is extremely difficult and expensive and not at all advisable. The factors affecting plant location are generally classified into two categories, primary factors and specific factors. The primary factors include availability of raw materials, market, transportation, energy availability, climate, transportation, and water supply. Okay, so these are basic primary six along with labor supplies also, but these are the six primary factors that has to be considered. So you should have raw material easily available. So to quote an example, I will say, let us suppose if I need to put a tea manufacturing plant. Okay, so is it advisable to have a tea manufacturing plant in Gujarat? No, because tea leaves are not being produced in Gujarat. Tea leaves are either produced in northern eastern states such as Assam or in the southern states like Tamil Nadu. So what I will do if I need to produce tea bags or tea manufacturing unit, then I'll place my industry there. Similarly, if I need to have a textile industry or a cotton processing industry, okay, so we know that Ahmedabad to Surat we have a lot of cotton textile industries, cotton spinning mills, and so on. Because this belt is we can easily get lot of raw material as a cotton as a raw material. Similarly, market. Okay, you are not going to produce something in Gujarat which is not being sold in Gujarat. Okay, you will produce only those things in Gujarat which are which you can sell over here, or you can at least have a good transportation from here. Okay, and so forth. Okay, now in terms of energy availability, water supply, and other factors, we have industrial estates now available like GIDC in Gujarat, MIDC in Maharashtra. Okay, so yeah, so these industrial areas they ensure that all the industries, all the factories in the location have availability, energy availability, transportation facilities, water supply. Okay, and they are designed, or they are you can say built in a place which have good climate. Okay, which has climate that supports. Okay, like you cannot have a industrial area where there is no water supply. Okay, where it is a desert, or you cannot have an industrial area where it rains a lot. Okay, then it is not very feasible. Similarly, other criteria that has to be considered are waste disposal facilities, labor supply, taxation and legal restrictions, site characteristics, flood and fire protection, and community factors. Now, overall, all these factors are actually considered when an industrial area is established, not just a factory. Okay, you cannot have there are very few places now where only one single factory is there. Okay, rest it has always become an industrial area, and those industrial areas or industrial clusters are in such a way that you have availability of these all factors are taken into very well consideration. Okay, once again, I'll quickly repeat. So the factors affecting plant location are generally classified into primary factors and specific factors. Primary factors include availability of raw materials, transportation, water supply, power, fuel, and labor. Specific factors include government policies, tax benefits, environmental regulations, climatic conditions, land cost, availability of skilled manpower, communication facilities, community acceptance, and possibility of future expansion. A good location minimizes transportation cost, ensures uninterrupted production, improves profitability, and supports long-term industrial growth. Okay, so please keep in mind that the raw material availability is the most important factor. Utilities and transportation again strongly influence the operating cost, and government policy has and community factor. Even these two things have to be taken into consideration. For example, a petrochemical industry is generally located near oil refinery or ports because raw material can be transported economically and easily. Since our Gujarat is a coastal area, that is why we have a huge petrochemical base over here. Okay, so this was the last topic of this chapter. So let us go through a small summary. In this chapter, we studied two important aspects of chemical plant design, plant location and plant layout. We learned that the plant layout deals with the arrangement of equipment, buildings, storage areas, utilities and roads to achieve safe, efficient and economical operation. We discussed the factors affecting plant layout, including process type, utilities, space availability, safety, waste disposal, and future expansion. Next, we studied the principles of good plant layout, such as efficient use of space, smooth material flow, reduced handling cost, worker safety, and flexibility. Finally, we learned the primary and specific factors that influence plant location, including raw materials, transportation, utilities, labor, government policies, environmental regulations, and market availability. These concepts help engineers design plants that are productive, economical, safe, and capable of future growth. Okay, in the next unit, we will study economic evaluation of chemical projects, where we will learn how engineers estimate costs, calculate profitability, determine depreciation, and evaluate investment decisions. Thank you. If you have liked this content, please share it with your friends. You can freely easily share them, and you can even subscribe for future notifications. Thank you. Have a good day.